Hey guys, RompSteel here again. So we are doing the Lords tournament next. The tournament with the expansion Lords of Middle-earth. So I know I still have the third place match with Vase to be uploaded. But so we talked about it for a bit. Most of you probably are aware of Ira, the largest War of the Ring YouTube channel anyway. Yeah, and he mentioned that he'd be interested in doing the finals in the third place game, and I thought that was a good idea because you guys have heard a lot of my take and my view on things for the tournament so far. So we decided to let him do those games anyway. So that'll be interesting for me to see his insight on them too. So yeah, so those will be up whenever we get around to playing them, and then Ira makes videos on them. So instead, I decided to make some coverage on my games in the Lords of Middle-earth tournament. So my first round I was up against Odysseus, who was new to the client anyway. So he played, we played the first game and I got lucky. Obviously there were some learning curves for him anyway with getting used to playing with the client, and he just, life felt too busy for him. So he conceded after that anyway. So I just skipped straight on to my series against LonelyMt in round 2. So for the first game, we just randomly rolled the die to see who went first, and it decided that he would be Free Peoples. So all we see so far is that he picked Gandalf Narya Keeper to be guide, and he didn't put any companions out on the map, which is a reasonable choice. I've experimented with a couple different things because, I'm still new to the Lords expansion, so experienced Lords players, feel free to comment. What if I say something that's just a really uninformed view? Anyway, feel free to let me know what you think, because I'm still learning for sure. But anyway, not separating any companions. It feels nice not letting the shadow player get tokens anyway. Especially if they only roll one muster on the first turn, then that the token allows them to still get Saruman anyway, even if they don't get the chief. So yeah, anyway, and he started with 3 Rings of the Elven Kings and Wisdom of Elrond, which are fantastic cards. If you gave me those at the start of every game as Free Peoples, I would not complain. Wisdom of Elrond, I feel like, is a lot more useful in the Lords expansion because it's more likely that the Shadow player is going to bring in Chief of the Ring Wraiths instead of the Black Captain. So a lot of nations just don't get activated as easily. So having the ability to just activate any one nation is... Yeah, that could be really powerful. And 3 Rings for the Elven Kings, the ability to get back 1 or more Elven rings, or 0, of course, can be super powerful. So I started with We Won't Go Back and a Swarm of Bats, so that's pretty cool too. Not fantastic turn 1 cards, but still pretty good cards. I'm happy with those. So I put in One Eye because I think I've said many times that in the base version, I always put in 0 eyes, and I think that's the correct way to play. With the Lords expansion, they do a really good job of making corruption a more viable option and making militarizing easier and more helpful with the extra dice inflation anyway for the Free Peoples, and because the game generally just takes longer this way. Anyway, so I think One Eye makes sense just because you're not risking them getting a lot of free movement at the start, and if you do roll more eyes, it's better for you because if the Fellowship gets revealed on turn 1 or turn 2, that's huge because then you can get Chief of Ring Wraiths, you get so much more corruption pressure, and you can cycle those cards. So, and then I roll 3 more eyes, so that is not great. This was a little while ago now that we played this game, so I don't remember exactly how this goes, but jeez. But yeah, 4 eyes to start with, that doesn't feel good. Okay, so he draws a card, makes sense. Safe Paths in the Dark, it's a decent card. And then he moves here, which I was surprised by, and he gets revealed. So I think what I would do anyway, if I had these dice, I would save moving for my very last die, because that way the Shadow player can't use this muster to bring in Chief for if you do get revealed. So he gets revealed. As a Shadow player, obviously, I'm very happy to see that. Interesting. Right, I'm a little surprised that I don't get the Chief right away, but obviously I guess I'm not playing either of these cards anyway. I guess I could technically play this after I bring in the Chief, but I don't really want to move the Witch King away off the Fellowship. So anyway, so I draw a card, which is reasonable. He musters the Elves down a step. I bring in Chief of the Ring Wraiths. He musters Gondor down a step, and I draw another character card. Yeah, yep. Drawing character cards just so that I have more options of things to harass the Fellowship with. Makes sense to me. Right, and then he uses Wisdom of Elrond to get Gondor straight to war. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Because especially not knowing that he had Wisdom of Elrond in hand, like, I sure as heck didn't see that coming. I was just thinking to myself, okay, Gondor's one step away from war, so I'm just going to not attack them until I'm ready anyway, and boop, there you go. Now they're at war, and now they can start mustering up, and my armies are still very far away from touching them. Like, no one's at war, because I only had one muster, and I used it for bringing in the chief, and these armies have not moved one single step. So if I do move towards Gondor, he'll have plenty of time to muster it up and make it strong. Oh, and there's guards of the Citadel anyway, so. Okay, so he switches to Strider. Oh, no, he does keep Gandalf. Okay, I think it would have made sense to switch to Strider there, because you'd actually get to still keep Narya. It's as long as Gandalf is guide at the end of the turn, and you're recovering at least one die from the hunt box, then you get to have the Narya die next turn. So the downside to switching to Strider here would be that if you don't manage to switch to Gandalf by the end of the turn, then next turn you wouldn't get to have the Narya die. Anyway, I add one eye, I roll that, and Gandalf is kind enough to roll another eye for me. Yeah. That feels so bad. Like, that's one of the things that I don't like as much about the Lords. Like, I like that using the Elven Rings adds more potential for it to go wrong, because that's, like, fairly thematically accurate. Like, if Gandalf, Galadriel, Elrond had put on the rings at all, then it wouldn't go well for them. So that's, I guess, not that thematic, actually, that they can even use them at all, really. But, oh, no, of course, because he didn't have the ring, so he couldn't do it. It's if he got the ring back, then they wouldn't be able to use the rings at all. Anyway, never mind. I'm not a lore master. I like the books. I've listened to them. I've listened through them a bunch, but anyway. But yeah, no, sorry. So what I was trying to say anyway was that it feels really bad as free people, just that the luck can be that swingy. Like, the dice, when they give you anything but an eye, it's fine. Sometimes it's just a card draw, so it's not great, but it's still something. It's just when you lose a die and you've made moving even worse for yourself. I don't know. That just feels so bad. Anyway, so I play Worn with Sword and Toil, because of course I get the cycle character cards while the chief is sitting on them, and of course Worn with Sword and Toil means that if he moves and loses Gandalf, then he loses one of these three cards. So he passes. That makes sense. I muster Sauron down to war. Right, because I guess my choices here are either I can, like, for the two musters, I could either bring Saruman in, or I think I'm more likely going to be bringing Gothmog in. So that's why I'm mustering Sauron down. Because he's probably not... Oh, no, wait, maybe he would lose Gandalf this turn. Oh, well, anyway. So the downside to mustering Sauron to war is now, of course, he can bring in Galadriel or Elrond. But he doesn't have a muster die, so he's probably not going to do that this turn anyway. And personally, I'm a huge fan of Gothmog with Chief of the Ring Wraiths. It's 1 out of 3 odds that you lose the Gothmog die, but his die is actually super good. Like, there's an eye on it, which is bad, and I think it's one of the army movements that has the other star on it. So that's 1 out of 3 that you lose his die if you have the Chief of the Ring Wraiths in play. But aside from the card draw and the eye, it's 2 musters and 2 army movements. So it's actually almost as good as a regular die. So just the fact that you can be on 10 dice on, like, turn 2 or 3 that just feels really strong to me. Okay, right, so I start moving armies. Oh, yeah, I'm headed up here to snag Old Forest Road because he doesn't have a hybrid or a Will of the West, so he can't walk in the way. He uses a ring to move the Fellowship. Interesting. Oh, right. Because he's scared of Worn with Sword and Toil taking away 3 rings for the Elven Kings, he wants to use a ring right now and then play it to get that ring back. So Fellowship moves and is safe. I keep walking along with my armies here. Then he plays 3 rings, and he gets 2 hits. So that feels bad that he didn't use 2 rings first, but he, of course, didn't really have an opportunity to use 2 rings. And it's nice that he got to not lose that card to Worm, Sword, and Toil anyway. So I'm not really sure what to do with this character die. Maybe I should have kept moving armies, like move this army into North Ithilien. But, cycling character cards to assault the Fellowship more feels good anyway. So I do 1 corruption damage, and I draw into Foul Thing. So Foul Thing is very, very good card anyway. I'm going to wait for Gandalf to die, of course, and then I'm going to play that and hope to kill Strider anyway. And he moves again. Okay. So I hit him twice and draw an eye. So 2R. So that's an interesting one. Okay, so he draws Pippin, Hobbit of the Shire. I think that means it's the base version, right? Or is it? I don't. No, I think that is the alternate. Yeah, that's the alternate. So that's why you didn't get to separate. Let me know if I'm wrong, and that is actually the base version, and we just forgot. Okay, so the plus side is he did get to keep Gandalf as guide, so he does still have the Narya die here. Man, this is another thing that I hate about being the Free Peoples and getting revealed early on, is having to pick between going through Moria versus going here. Revealing in Moria feels like suicide, because obviously I'm going to bring in the Balrog, so you're just signing up to draw at least one extra tile, quite possibly two if you get revealed. But going the high pass route means that if I play Captain of Despair, it's so difficult to get rid of. Because Captain of Despair you can only get rid of by declaring in a stronghold or getting down to Gollum. You can't even declare in Dale if Dale's still standing by the time you get there. Just if I had picked up Captain of Despair and played it here, that just would have been so brutal for the Fellowship to try to deal with. And I've had games, like I've been on both sides of that. Like as a Shadow player, it feels amazing. As Free Peoples, you just feel doomed. Personally, I think that card's busted. You might be able to tell. Anyway, back to what's actually happening in the game. So I didn't play any. So I ended the card. Words, Bob. Ended the turn at a full 6 cards. So now I have 8, and I have to pick 2 to throw out. So this is a tough choice because I think all 8 of these cards are pretty good. And I have, interestingly, all 3 Swarm of Bats in hand. For those of you who just play base, Shadow Lords adds a 3rd Swarm of Bats. So now there's 3 Swarm of Bats in the deck, and I have all 3 of them on turn 3. So a difficult choice here anyway. Let's see what I do. I throw out Breaking of the Fellowship and Return of the Witch King. That seems reasonable. I'm not likely to play Breaking soon because I don't really want to accelerate him towards Gollum. And like at the same time, I don't know. If I'm trying harder for Corruption, maybe I should have kept that. But at the same time, I'd rather... playing that card feels a lot better if you're playing it to just do 1 Corruption damage to Gollum, and he's a long way away from Gollum. He still has all the companions in the Fellowship. Oh, no, wait, except Pippin. He lost Pippin. And if you're going to throw out one of the Swarm of Bats, I think that's the least good one. Like this, if it does come up, is pretty nice. Getting to attack a Free People's army. It's unlikely that it is going to come up, but I don't know. And Shadows moving, of course, can be really helpful. Okay. So he's got King Brand and Horn of Gondor. Oh, King Brand. That's a really nice card. Gandalf is an eye again. Oh, man. What a troll, as they say. So he hides. And interestingly, again, he had the option to switch over and have Strider as the guide. But of course, then he wouldn't have the Narya die, which turns out would have actually been an advantage. But it's only 1 in 6 that it's an eye, of course. So, okay, so he hides, and I think for a bit about what to do. Okay, and I just move armies. I'm sure I was thinking about moving Nazgul first. I think maybe I'm wanting to move Nazgul with Nazgul Search. So I'm going to let him move 1 time first, and then I'm going to use Nazgul Search to reveal him and get to put the Chief of the Ring Wraiths on him, and pivot the rest of the Nazgul to whichever army I want. That's probably the plan. So he plays Horn of Gondor. That makes sense. Corruption is absolutely an issue, and you get value out of that character card before Worm of Sore and Toil deletes it. Interesting. I'm attacking Osgiliath. Oh, right, because Gondor's at war, so I want to hurry up and get him out of here. Okay, so I use a Swarm of Bats here, I guess, just in case he was going to Scouts away. And I roll 2 6s anyway, so it doesn't matter. He gets 1 hit back. So he musters an Elite Minas Tirith, of course. Interesting. I'm not entirely sure why I rushed Minas Tirith. Maybe I just didn't feel like this army was ready to attack Woodland Realm, and I wanted to still be here to eliminate the, Carrick. Yeah, so there's Minas Tirith under siege, and he moves the Fellowship, and he's safe. That's a bummer for me. So now I get Saruman. Oh my gosh, I'm only just getting Saruman. It's turn 3. That feels bad. Right, so yeah, now I'm playing Nazgul Search to get to pivot my Nazgul. I get another red tile and half orcs. Be right back. Okay, what are we up to here? Right. Redrawing cards. This time he does switch to Strider. And rolls only one character die. So, yeah. Like we say in the game, it's a good choice switching to Strider this time. You only have one movement for sure. So he opens with hiding, which is reasonable. I play a red tile, just in case he moves and gets revealed, then the Chief of the Ring Wraiths doesn't follow him if he gets revealed. So might as well do my card cycling now with this Palantir because I don't think I'm about to do anything else with it. I think I want to save one for playing Foul Thing in case he does move and somehow manages to lose Gandalf anyway. So he moves and is safe, so I'm bummed about that. I play the other red tile and cycle some more, though, so that's nice. Okay, so I attack Woodland Realm. I guess I'm just deciding to ignore the North anyway. Do is so much trickier with the Rangers of the North card. That card really makes things a mess. Anyway. I play Half-Orcs and Goblin Men on the Woodland Realm army, which is nice because it also steps up the leadership from 3 to 4. That feels better. He plays King Brand's Men now. That's interesting. I would have played it 4 just in case I attacked Dale first. But oh well, that's not insane. Okay, so I attack Woodland Realm. I use a Swarm of Bats. He plays no card, and I roll 3 hits, so that feels great. That's lucky for sure. And he gets 1 hit back. So the Elves are at war now, which is, I guess I'm not planning on going for Lorien or Rivendell at the point. I'm not sure what the plan is for my 10 points. Maybe Dew and Gondor? Maybe Helm's Deep? I don't know. So he plays Rangers of the North there and attacks Woodland Realm. And this is on all 3, which is somewhat bad luck, but I mean, losing an orc isn't a big deal anyway. Oh, right, and I remember. I was waiting for that H die to go away because now I can run around and get Erebor. Right, I wasn't going to, but then he specifically played Rangers of the North, so now I don't have to worry about this little guy getting nuked. And the North is all the way from being at war. So, right, he musters them down because he sees exactly that happening. So I put Erebor under siege, and there we go. Always feels so nice as Shadow to actually get Erebor under siege at just 1/2/1, because that regular usually gets in there, but he's rolled not a lot of hybrid dice, so let's look. He's had 4, actually. Oh, well, there's been other things to do. Right, so of course now he doesn't get the Narya die. There's the downside of switching. He declares into Carrick and the Witch King follows him. I think that makes sense just because in a settlement, I can't play cards like Foul Thing or Orc Patrol. So, yeah. And now that he's not on a step anymore, I can't hit him with Nazgul Strike or Cruel Weather anymore. I mean, not that I'd want to hit him with Cruel Weather right now, but yeah. Okay, so he switches back to Gandalf. Obviously, he's hoping to kill Gandalf and get to bring him back in because I have Saruman in play now, so now he can. So he moves, and he's safe again. So I remember being frustrated at this point because I had such a good start corruption-wise, and that's like the 3rd time he's moved against like 4 or 5 dice and not getting hit. So that doesn't feel good at this point anymore. So my new plan is certainly speed anyway. This Woodland Realm dropped pretty quick, and my military's moving okay anyway. Like, not amazing, but okay, you know. So I move this army here. I guess I'm hoping to scare him into Corsairs. Like, I'm hoping to scare him into mustering here again because I'm threatening that I have Corsairs, even though I don't. Or, yeah. And this army's getting ready to go and help this army take out Erebor. So yeah, he musters into Lamorath, which makes sense. And I attack Iron Hills from Erebor. Interesting. I guess I don't really have much else to do with those character dice. Like, I could play Wormtongue, but I can't play any of these character cards because he's in a settlement and he's not revealed, and Smeagol's not the guide. And I guess the only other thing I could do would be attacking Erebor with this army, which doesn't feel great because I'd really rather get this army over there first before I begin. Because, like, if this goes poorly and this is a weak army and he manages to muster the North to war, now I'm in a pickle because this is a strong army here in Dale. Like, King Bran plus the Rangers of the North, that is not to be sneezed at. King Bran's very offended by your sneezing. Okay, just don't do it. But yeah, I go with no card, which I guess makes sense. Because, yeah. So he has a Confusion, which gets 1 hit. That's about what you'd expect. Yeah. Draw a card here. That's weird. I guess if I was going to draw a card and throw one out, maybe I should have done that before. But, oh well, here we are. So I continue my army shuffling. Right, I specifically brought a Nazgul there so that I could use this last character die to bring in this army and finish getting ready to take out Erebor. Because I'd really like to crack Erebor before he can play Dane. Like, this is a beautifully weak Erebor. Like, really want to finish it off now. So he does get hit this time, thanks to the reroll from the Chief. He uses Horn of Gondor to cancel the 1. That makes sense. And I get that army put together anyway. He picks up Celeborn and there and back again. Interestingly, there and back again is a reasonable play here because the Fellowship's in pretty good shape, and getting to put a companion, I guess it'd have to be Legolas or Gimli there, and Dale would also muster them down a step. So that would have been a decent choice. I don't blame him for chucking it, though, because the rest of these are pretty good, too. Like, we prove the Swifter is an amazing late-game card for getting Gandalf where he needs to be. Good defensive cards. File and Save Paths. Don't want to throw those out either. To Save Paths... Right, no, that's the one that kills We Shall Get It or We Won't Go Back. And We Shall Get It usually comes up anyway. So I chuck Orc Patrol, which is interesting. So yeah, I'm officially definitely giving up on corrupting the Fellowship because they've made a lot of progress and haven't gotten hit much. Like, yeah, they're 4 steps away from Mordor, and they have lost 0 companions on our 2 corruption. So that's pretty impressive. And one of those corruption points is from me playing Candles. Oh, right, yeah, and he declares in Dale and gets to heal 1. And the Chief gets to follow him there. It's only strongholds that he can't declare in, specifically unconquered free people strongholds. But he gets to get rid of Warm Restore and Toil. So I guess that's neat because you get to keep file. Personally, I think I would have just kept on trucking. Like, I think you got to go fast. And if you lose a card, oh well. But that's an entirely reasonable choice, though. Like in getting to declare, and like the fact that Dale is still standing is pretty impressive, anyway. So here we go. 2 movement frames. So that's better anyway. He musters more in Dol Amroth and Dale, which is interesting. I'd be tempted to muster down the north if I were him, but at the same time, if he does, then this army is just going to step on Dale. So. Yeah, that's an interesting series of problems anyway. Okay. Oh, yeah, wow. It's turn 6, and he has yet to roll Will of the West. That's really bad. But yeah, he does still have Gandalf the Grey, so it would be worse if he'd, like I say, if he'd lost him to a 1 on turn 1 and then just never rolled the Will of the West. That would be worse. But at least he's had Narya die most of the game so far. Okay, so I go after Erebor. I'm playing a strategy card. Probably We Come to Kill. Because having 3 elites there makes that not bad. Yeah, We Come to Kill, and he plays Daylight. So I roll 1 hit, which is about what you'd expect, and he rolls about 1 hit, which is also roughly what you'd expect. And then my post, and I get 1 hit, also what you'd expect. So very reasonable. I press the attack because, yeah, I'd like to hurry up and get this wrapped up so that I can deal with Dale anyway. Yeah, Blur of the Ring. Very much given up on, like, because Gandalf is still the guide, I'm, not super planning on using this to try to kill Strider, because even if I did draw Strider, he might just take the 3 corruption. So, anyway, I get 1 hit. He gets 0. I don't press. I find that interesting. Why didn't I press? Maybe I'm just scared of how strong this army might become. Like, I still want this army to be strong enough to be able to confidently bully this army after I'm done. So he draws a card. A strategy card. Yeah, it would have been cool if he'd picked up Dane there. Anyway. Okay, so I attack Erebor. And he plays another Daylight. So that's bad. But then I roll 3 hits anyway. Oh, that's brutal. And he gets 1 hit back. So that's nice for me. He moves the Fellowship. It's safe. Then I play Nazgul Strike. Interesting. Oh, right, because I get to draw a card. It's important that as soon as you play a character card with the Chief of the Ring Wraiths on him, then you draw another card. So it's an interesting choice for me here. Do I put the Chief there, expecting them to be revealed, or do I leave it in Dale, expecting them to not get revealed, or do I put it in Southern Ravanian, expecting them to not get revealed and then move again and get revealed? So, like, all 3 of those are plausible spots for where the Fellowship might end this turn. So it's a very strange guessing game here. But in any case, it's nice that I get to pivot Nazgul down to Minas Tirith, because obviously they're done with their business in Erebor. So I roll for hunt. Interesting. I wonder what else I was thinking of. Was I maybe thinking of Black Captain Commands? I don't know. Seems like a good plan to me anyway. And I hit him, but I don't reveal him. Instead, I get Smeagol out there, which is actually pretty nice for me. Like obviously it's bad that I'm not hurting them, but now he doesn't get the Narya die if Smeagol survives this turn anyway. So he moves again, and he gets hit and draws a 2 reveal. Yeah, and then, right, that's right. He takes a random and he loses Smeagol anyway. So I would have been tempted to lose Smeagol on purpose there just so that you get the Narya die. But yeah, random is good too, though. If he'd just random then lost Gandalf, that would have been good too. Then he could bring Gandalf back next turn. And yeah, of course, there is still another Smeagol tile out there. It feels good if you get to use it. Oh, right. Yeah, we crashed here. So now we shall get it in play, which is even nicer because now I can use Safe Paths in the Dark to get rid of it. So, oh right, yeah, and now it's nice that he's down to 1 die, so now I can safely muster up Isengard, and there's no Gandalf the White, so I can muster up here a couple times, then just go get Helm's Deep. So I attack Ford's Visor. I go 1 hit, hit 0. He's had pretty poor luck with hitting back. Let's see what the statistics are on that. Yeah. Okay, well it's -3 on hits anyway, so that's bad, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, actually. I put Helm's Deep under siege, musters the north towards war, and I move armies along. I pick up another red tile, which is always good to see. In Shadow of Dol Guldur, that's a good card. He picks up Elven Cloaks, and I feel like he already had Spirit of Mordor. Oh, he picked up a Power 2 Great and chucked it. Interesting. Power 2 Great. I would have been tempted to throw out Spirit of Mordor or We Prove the Swifter, but I guess that's a Scouts, and Scouts might be useful here. We Prove the Swifter might be useful later, of course. So I roll another 4 eyes, so that doesn't help. And he only rolls 1 Will of the West, so that's frustrating because he still hasn't killed Gandalf, so he can't get Gandalf the White. And he doesn't have Strider or Skyte, so he can't hide and then use a ring to move and then do that. That's frustrating. I would be low-key tempted to play We Prove the Swifter with the Palantir just so you're allowed to change guide, then hide with Strider, then use a ring to move against these 5 dice to try to kill Gandalf, and then use this Will of the West to crown Gandalf. That being said, that's a lot invested, and I might have Day Without Dawn. Turns out I don't. But that would be my temptation anyway, as the Free People's player. But mustering up down here in Gondor makes sense for sure. Right, I attack Pelargir. I get 1 hit. He gets 1 hit. I press. And he moves to Osgiliath. I remember, right, at this point I was scared of, what do you call it? Help Unlooked For, because that would be a decent siege, because I'd only be rolling 1 die against him. And I would hope to stick it out and beat out those 2 regulars, but it might do a lot of damage first. Oh, right. Yeah, this is his plan. He noticed that I don't have any Elven Rings, and I don't have any musters either. So he's looking at a Free People's Ring victory here. Because with that hybrid die, he can walk into Minas Morgul and walk over here, and then use a ring to step into Dol Guldur. And it would be difficult for sure for me to be able to retake it. So I think the best plan for me for retaking would be taking this army or this army and going and attacking and trying to take back Minas Morgul. With this army, it would have to be 1, 2 with the 2 army dice to put it under siege, and then a character die to pivot Nazgul, and then 1 to attack. But of course, I have Black Captain Command, so I could actually do that even more efficiently. But this army, of course, wouldn't need the pivot. It would just be 1, 2, 3, 4, and hope to crack it in 1. So that's still an option for me, but of course, that's a very bad option. And this is the downside to me bringing these 10 regulars up here. I was thinking I might need them as backup for taking Dew. So that's why they went up here. But now, of course, if they were still sitting in Gorgoroth, then I could use this army die and they just walk into Minas Morgul. So that's a vulnerability I left open. But luckily for me, I picked up Shadow of Dol Guldur. So what I do is I pivot Nazgul and I bring a bunch into Shadow of Dol Guldur. So now if he steps forward again, then I can play this card with an army result, and it musters Sauron regulars equal to the number of Nazgul up to 5. So I get 4 there anyway. So I could have brought the Witch King over for a 5th orc, but I had valued him harming the Fellowship and getting the card cycling more than 1 extra orc, which I think makes sense. So he knows that card's a thing, which is why he doesn't bring the elite. But of course, there's a chance that I'm bluffing anyway. So if I am bluffing, he's still testing that. But I do have that card, so of course I play it. And it also comes with a movement/attack, so I get to attack this elf. Because, yeah, then Lorien is a little bit scattered here now, so there's a chance that I could snatch it up for an easy 2 points. So I think about it for a little bit and decide to do that. Yeah, anyway. He plays File of Galadriel, and I play The Ring is Mine during that card cycling. So now I get Captain of Despair. Can't remember if I actually end up playing it or not. And he musters the North to war, which I remember right after I played the red tile is like, crap, I was specifically holding on to Black Captain commands so that if he musters the North to war, I can use that to pivot Nazgul and attack Dale. Because as it is, I have a 3 hit point advantage, but he has a leadership advantage and he has the defensive bonus of being in Dale. So this is not an amazing fight for me. I still take it because I don't want him to muster an elite. That's even worse. Or if he rolls 2 hybrid dice, he could besiege Woodland Realm at the start of next turn, and even if this army comes, then he can attack it and probably retake it because there's only 1 regular in there. So I'm kind of, it forces my hand. I have to attack Dale right now. So I get 1 hit. Thank you, Warg. And he gets 2 hits. That's about fair anyway. I press. I realize that I should play it differently because if I press and he retreats to Withered Heath, obviously I want to leave a regular in Erebor and bring the rest of the army in. And with keeping the elite, this would only be a 4-unit army after that. So that's why I changed my casualties to splitting up the Oliphant. So yeah, now I have at least a 5-unit so that I have that 5 combat dice to his 4. And I get to leave a regular defending Erebor. So I got Gates are closed and Monsters roused, not bad. Picks up Ents and I saw what it was, but I immediately forgot because my memory is that bad. And he switches back to Strider. Man, I can't remember the last time I saw a game with this much switching back and forth between Strider and Gandalf. So I go with 0 eyes because, again, the plan is very much military, and I'm on 10 dice and 11, in a sense, for rolling eyes because Gandalf's Narya dies there, and we roll no eyes. So I don't know what the odds are of that, but on 7 dice, it's only like 27 point something % odds of rolling 0 eyes. So on 11 dice, I'm sure it's obviously smaller than that. So he hides because he's excited that he has 3 free movement here. But luckily for me, I picked up Captain of Despair the other round. So I put that into play now. I get the cycle. So what this means is that now after I use a character die, it goes into the hunt box. So he gets to move once for free, but now I can use a character die to do something, and now he's actually rolling for the hunt again. So I crack Helm's Deep because I guess I just don't really have anything else that I super want to do. Maybe I could have played Black Captain or Gates Are Closed. But I don't want to attack Minas Tirith, of course, because all the leadership went away to defend Dol Guldur. Anyway, so I roll 1/6. He rolls 2 hits back, so that hurts. I press, and I think I use a card now. Yeah, I'm probably playing Desperate Battle because I want to finish this guy. Okay, yeah, I get the hit. He gets 1 hit back because, yeah, like that's the downside. Like 5 Isengard elites looks awesome because you got your 5 leadership and it's 5 elites. But if you take any hits and have to press, suddenly that leadership just evaporates. So I really wanted to finich that before this army had to become too weak because I didn't want Rohan to be able to muster up and come get it back. So anyway, yeah, suddenly I'm on 8 points. That happened pretty quick. Yeah, like I had good luck and do and good luck with the lack of H's at the right time to get Helm's Deep. Minas Tirith is still well defended, but that's certainly crackable anyway with this army and this army. Okay, so he moves again and is safe. I muster an elite there. That's interesting. Why am I not just going after Minas Tirith? Maybe I just know I have a muster and I don't know what else to do with it. That's still weird to me. I'm really confused. Why didn't I use that muster to switch this over to the Black Captain and then use this to pivot and go attack Minas Tirith? That seems really obvious to me. But, oh well, I guess I'm insane. I guess I'm also worried that it won't be enough. Like, it is reasonably well defended. I really don't know what I'm doing here, though. Okay, yeah, so I am going after Minas Tirith. Right, I guess I'm also scared of this army attacking Dale. Wait, what? Oh, I guess I'm going for Edoras and Shire instead of Minas Tirith. Okay, that's not the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Oh, right, because I have Ragers Unlinked. Oh my gosh, I'm blind. I am so sorry. What a piece of trash I am. Yes, past me is a genius. Present Bob is a moron. Yeah, okay. Let it be known. So, right, and this army can go and sit on Pelargir, of course. Oh, yeah, he uses Spirit of Mordor on Dale. Oh, right, that's huge, because the hit point difference here is so marginal. Like, if he gets 2 hits, then this is a pretty close to fair fight, but he whips. Pulling, what's it called? Channeling the Spirit of Dreadful spells and getting the 0 hits. I shuffle Nazgul around here. Right, because now that he's used 1 die, now this army can't get to Pelargir anymore, so I don't need to be concerned about that anymore. So I shuffle leadership around because this is the only shot he has, really, at hanging on this turn. Like, maybe this army, maybe he could have mustered Rohan and tried to hold on, but that seems super unlikely. Okay. So, right, I specifically bring the Witch King over here because I want to be able to turn him into the Black Captain and attack and get to cycle a card so that I have better cards for defending in Dale. Okay. Right, so now I change him into the Black Captain. Which, was I risking... Let's look at discarded cards. Was I risking Tom Bombadil ruining my life? Oh, but I guess if he used his die to play Tom Bombadil, then I could still discard it. Oh, no, but I didn't have an army die. I see. I didn't have an army card. So if Tom Bombadil was going to come, it was going to stop me. Right, and of course he would have played it already because this army was sitting here. So if he had it, of course he was going to play it already. So anyway, okay, never mind. I do make sense. Right, so now I attack Shire and I use this card to cycle, hoping for like a Dread and Despair over here to help defend. I get my 1 hit. He gets 1 hit. That doesn't really make a difference. Cruel as Death, though, that's still helpful. So he attacks Dale, and he's using a strategy card. See that? I wonder what. Probably advantageous. Yeah, it has to be advantageous, but you can't use Charge here. But I use Cruel as Death, so it stays the same attacking him. But of course, I'm down 2 Nazgul leadership now. And he rolls 2 hits, which is above average for him. You'd expect 1. And I roll 0 hits, so that is also certainly below average. So that feels terrible. I do still have the advantage because I have the leadership and I have a good card here to play, thanks to my cycling with the Witch King. But I don't know what he has. Turns out he has nothing that's helpful here. But naturally, I want to stick around and try to win because I should. Anyway. Okay, so I get 3 hits. Oh, no, that's him rolling. Right. So he gets 2 hits. That helps. I don't roll any 4s, so that feels bad. Now I gave up a reroll and I didn't get a hit. So I only get 1. So now it's an interesting question of what to do here. If I stay and I lose all these Nazgul, that makes my life a lot worse. And the odds are in his favor now for winning this fight, which is frustrating. But yeah, here we are. But if I retreat, then he can muster up more in Dale and make my life a pain. So in the end, I decide to retreat to Woodland Realm because... Why do I retreat to Woodland Realm? I don't know. I feel like Erebor makes more sense because I'm more likely to be able to come and help defend Woodland Realm from Dol Guldur, whereas Erebor's a little more isolated. Oh, well, I don't know. Right, Right, so now I choose to bring in the mouth because all nations are at war now. This I was obviously going to attack Edoras with that die, but now that that doesn't grant me the win, now I'm stuck doing this. So, okay, on we go. Right, so I don't get the Gothmog die anymore, and he doesn't get Keeper of Narya anymore because Strider was the guide at the end of last turn. So I have to allocate an eye this time because he moved Fellowship twice. So he finally got the Will of the West. Yay! Oh no, wait, he had one last time too. Okay, so he moves the Fellowship and is safe. I'm wishing I had Cruel Weather, but I don't. But I still might get it anyway. So I use Shadow's Gather here to move a regular and a Nazgul up there, which I just picked up. So that's pretty lucky. I could have maybe used it to bring this reinforcements up. Wait, did I just pick it up? Yeah, I did just pick it up. Anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to make it difficult for him to try to retake a stronghold anyway. So, what was my plan here? Right, so I'm bringing those orcs out because I want to. Okay, I think I'm giving up on my 4 cities. Right, I remember not making sense to myself here either. I'm bringing these orcs up because I'm thinking about going and trying to finish off Dale, but if he musters up a couple times, then suddenly this army is not strong enough to deal with this anyway. So then I'm thinking about bringing this army up instead. Maybe I should have saved my Shadow's Gather for that. But if this army leaves, then Mordor is suddenly not very defended anymore. And these 2 guys are still here sitting on 2 points, so that's a problem. But I'm also thinking, like, this army is pretty good. So if we just wipe Edoras and then go get Minas Tirith, that helps. Anyway, what do we do here? Oh, right. I'm going after Lorien now. Right, because I have Durin's Bane here, and I have Shadows on the Misty Mountains for help. Okay, so I'm going after Parth Celebrant. He plays a shield wall, and I get 1 hit. He doesn't get a hit back, but yeah, they get to retreat to Lorien. So now it's pretty huge that he threw out Power 2 Great. That feels bad. But to be fair, it didn't really look like I was going for Lorien or Rivendell at that point. So anyway. Interesting. Oh yeah, I remember being so confused because Gwaihir would have worked perfectly 1, 2, 3, 4 for putting companions in Lorien, and the leadership is not strong there. So personally, I would have put companions there, but I guess he's been stuck on 4 dice this whole game, and he has an opportunity to actually crown Strider here, so that is reasonable anyway. Interesting. So I'm pivoting leadership, but I can't even attack Lorien this turn. What am I doing here? I'm also giving away that I don't have Cruel Weather, because now I can't play a character card anymore. Like, I don't have a ring, and this can't do it. That feels like a poor choice to me. He brings in Galadriel, and then he brings in Galadriel instead of crowning Aragorn. That confuses me. Oh, right, I have the mouth. I'm threatening to attack Lorien, of course. Okay, that's the plan. I forgot I had the mouth. Silly Bob. Okay. Right, so I lead with a strategy card here because the worst feeling in the world is when you play Durin's Bane, and then because Galadriel's there, he has a Daring Defiance, and he cancels it. So I thought he specifically used the Will of the West because he realized the danger and thought, oh, I need to play Daring Defiance and cancel Durin's Bane. That was my suspicion anyway. Rude to do. So that's why I was extra scared of a Daring Defiance. So that's why I led with a strategy card, because usually you'd lead with Durin's Bane. So then maybe he'd think, oh, I guess he doesn't have Durin's Bane. I'll use the Daring Defiance on this card. But he has a charge, which is still a decent card. So he misses on that, though. That helps me. I roll 2 hits. And also, of course, I want a cycle strategy card. Hopefully get like a Deadly Strike or something to help me win this right now. And he gets 3 hits back, so that hurts. But I still got 2 hits, so that helps. So, of course, I don't press here because I still want to actually have enough troops to roll combat dice next turn. So I press, and I get Devilry of Orthanc. So I think I play it here. Oh, no, I play Durin's Bane here. Okay. Interesting. I kind of guessed that I would play Devilry of Orthanc and then press one last time and then play Durin's Bane and try to finish them off. But okay, I get my pre 2 hits though. Yep, that helps. And then I roll no 6s, so that's frustrating. So then I play Devilry of Orthanc and I get my 1 hit. So there it is. Yeah. So I think that was reasonably well played. I think we both made a couple mistakes, but on the whole, well played. The Dale part, as frustrating as it was for me, that's really cool. It's always cool when free peoples win a field battle that they're not supposed to, especially when it literally saves the game for them. Yeah. I think I got luckier on the whole anyway, just with combat dice showing up at the right time anyway. On the other hand, I was actually minus 10 on 6s. Okay, so I wasn't lucky in that regard. Plus 0 on HS, plus 1 on A, plus 3 on characters, plus 5 on Eyes, minus 5 Palantirs, minus 6 Muster. So I don't know. That kind of averages out to okay. I got a lot of use out of Gothmog's die, though, so that's pretty lucky, too, anyway. Wow, he still had Gandalf the Grey in the Fellowship. That's crazy. Anyway, cool game. Lords definitely adds an interesting twist. Yeah, so that was game 1. See you next time. Yeah, took me a bit to find the button. Now it's bye.